It's not every day that you meet a life coach, an art of living instructor, and an author, all along being a former Miss India America as well. And that's all that Leena Gupta is and more. Thank you so much for speaking to me on Spot On.
Thank you for having me, Gaurie.
Leena, it's been quite a bio that I'm going through. Very interesting. You are a life coach, you're an instructor with Art of Living. You've also written a book which is about the anchor within. We'll come to that how you go about anchoring yourself. And before that, of course, you started off with a beauty contest early in your life as well. So first of all, let me ask you, how did your journey really begin on all this?
Well, I think life happens sometimes, you know. The beauty pageant was not something I participated in. That I applied for. It was something that someone saw me dancing and said, you've got to be in our pageant. And once someone saw me in the pageant and I won the pageant, then they said, you've got to come to the audition for Maine Pyar Kiya. In fact, Bhagyashree.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
Before Bhagyashree, I was the person picked. So life just happens sometimes. And I think
I have to ask you, what happened at that audition?
I got chosen and my parents said no.
Wow.
So I got to go in the candy shop and never have the candy. So, but the good thing is that I got to tell Salman that, hey, we would have been acting together and maybe another time.
Yeah, maybe another time.
Maybe another time.
Yes, indeed. So, which brings me to ask you, in terms of your life, you've in fact lived in a bunch of countries, now in India. Talk to us about what it's like to be living in so many different countries and at the same time being rooted, when it comes to Indian traditions, Indian culture.
Absolutely. I think roots is, my book is about anchor within, right? So it is being rooted in your truths, your authenticity, the wisdom that we have in our country. Living in different countries helps you broaden the mindset, helps you become more empathetic, more sensitive to other people's mindsets, views, opinions, ways of living. We don't get stuck with this is my way or the highway. The whole perception becomes broader. You allow more, and I think you flow better. Your cultural sensitivities make you more interesting as a person, I think. You were
very young when you moved out and you were in the US for some time, right? What was growing up in the US at a different time altogether? Tell us what's that one memory that you keep when it comes to growing up in the US?
I think I was a happy-go-lucky person, but my family unit was amazing. We had a lot of time together, no gadgets, right? So we had a lot of that quality time together, and I played a lot in nature. I skied, I skated, water sports, walking in the park. So I think that's something that I really value. And the most important, I would say, out of all of these is that the parents gave priority to the best education they could give me. And I think that is the best gift I have.
Isn't that the case with most Indian diaspora, isn't it? That they put a premium on education?
Absolutely. And that is like the winning ticket. I think, learning is one part of it. But being in a network of a community that is diverse, that is, minds are expanded, hearts are, open. That's where you learn the maximum. And I think that's, I really appreciate that. And growing up in the West was wonderful. I had an Indian culture at home. I had the philosophy of the West. I learned how to balance both. And that made me a more enriched person.
Indeed. And, if one were to talk about, let's say, whether it is about the politics of the Indian community, whether it's about the views of the Indian community, as someone who's actually been brought up in more than one country, you understand Indian diaspora across different countries. What's that constant thread that you see? Whether it's the US or I saw you've also been brought up in Thailand, UK, Hong Kong. What's that one thing that sort of is the connect when it comes to the Indian diaspora across these countries?
I think we are a very grateful country, and I think that we have faith in a higher power, that we are being looked after. And I think that carries us very far. No matter where you live, you have that faith that, there's someone looking after me. And that lets us relieve ourselves of the burden that we are the doer, constantly being in doership, and that we are in control. We allow for that space that, no, there is something looking after me, I'll be fine. Your mom will say, Beta, don't worry, you'll be fine. So I think
now you get to say that, right, to a lot of people?
And my daughter.
So what it's like to be at the Art of Living. Talk to us about how you got into it and what's that one central belief that guides you.
So I was very lucky, you know. When I moved to India, I was 20 years old. I got into a marriage that was complicated and challenging, and I stepped into the unknown. So while I was achieving a lot abroad, I didn't get the skill sets to nurture my inner child. I didn't have tools and wisdom to have that inner success. I got the outer success. And that is not something that really weighs heavy on the inner self-worth. So when I came to India, got married, I had no tools to connect to myself, to help myself. And that's when my spiritual mentor appeared in my life, 10 years into the marriage. And he taught me how to go from out to in, and from the outer world of noise to the inner world of silence. That's when I connected to myself. And I think that's the most important thing I've learned is, who is the authentic you? It's not the labels, it's not the masks, it's not the roles. I'm a mother, I'm a corporate trainer, but who am I? What do I stand for? What are my values? What is it that I like, that makes my heart soar, that makes my soul sing? And what is it that makes me cringe? I needed to get to know myself. And that was the biggest gift spirituality has given me. And my mentor, Shishi Ravi Shankarji, has helped me to meet myself. And it's a work in progress, but I'm befriending myself in a big way and romancing myself.
At 17, you were hoping to romance Salman Khan. At 20, of course, you got married. And now, 20 years later, you are romancing with yourself, as they say. But you mentioned about this journey being about, identifying and finding yourself. If I were to ask you that one advice that you would give to your 17-year-old self, who probably wanted different things, what would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. I think bet on yourself, take a risk, take a chance. I should have fought with my parents and said, come on. I did say one film, but I didn't fight for it. And I should have fought for it because all my life I wanted to be an actress at that point. So I think if you have a dream, you have a belief, go for it. Bet on yourself. Take a risk. Because I think we are too often self-sabotaging ourselves because of judgment of others or failure. We think we're going to fail and we just stay in our zone and we stay small. I think bet on yourself.
Is there something that most women, I wouldn't say Indian women because then we are being very narrow in our opinion, but do you think this is something that really affects the confidence and psyche of women in general, which is about how we get judged?
Oh, absolutely. For instance, even you could say the beauty pageant or the film offers, it could have affected my sense of vanity and beauty and appearance because we women have been conditioned to equate their appearance and beauty to their value, their sense of worth. But when I got vitiligo, and I have now 3 autoimmune disorders because of stress and anxiety and lack of tools and wisdom, I have learned to reframe beauty, reframe my understanding of what true beauty is. Who are you below the skin? So I'm now soul deep, not just skin deep. And I'm beyond my looks or my body or my thoughts or emotions. I'm much bigger than that. So essence is infinite and untainted. So that's why I'm saying anchoring within has helped me expand my inner consciousness and the happiness.
What's the central message about your book that also defines not just the book, but you?
Success is an inside job.
Okay. And I'm sure, you've been speaking to a lot of people about this book and they must have come to you about how, it's been a journey for them. That one feedback that you think, made you go back to this central message and rethink it maybe?
Okay. I think, again, fear of failure. I think we have to just let go of that. And if I can mention one more, I think it's a very important one and one that I really learned a lesson is when I heard my mentor talk about let go of the blame for your parents, for people. They do the best they can. Parents are not on a professional journey being parents. So if there's something that you didn't like, take responsibility. I think the core message that I've understood from my life is take responsibility for yourself. No one is going to come and save you, fix you, or make you whole. You have to take responsibility.
Is that why you decided to write this book?
Yes, it's a culmination of my many years of work, research, client conversations. But this was something that my clients asked me to do. They said, please document these learnings, these techniques, because even your one-liners, they carry us through stress, they carry us through anxiety. And this is something my daughter's friends have also told me, that one girl made a huge poster for me saying, assume nothing. Leena auntie, I live by that now. So, that was so inspiring. And then when they asked me to document my learnings in a book, it made sense.
Indeed. And, as someone who's, sort of traversed multiple journeys, what intersection are you at your life right now? Whether it is in terms of self-discovery, whether it is in terms of exploration, or whether it's in terms of now in a position to send and give messages.
Yes.
Where are you at that inflection point?
I think that's a great question, Gaurie. Spot on. I think right now I'm at a point in my life where I want to reach as many people as I can and help them or uplift them or be an example or an inspiration in the smallest way. Because I think I've just reached a point where I'm very, very grateful, very full. I'm feeling happy. The challenges are there, but I have an umbrella in the storm. I know how to anchor within in the midst of chaos. And I'd like to reach that to a lot of people. I'd like to give them a lot of my signature tools, which have worked for thousands of clients.
Where are your readers primarily from? I'm asking because that also is important when you are giving out a message, because it's not one monolithic audience, right? So what is that audience that you are catering to? Are these youngsters? Are these women? Are these middle-aged people? Are these corporate folks?
Sure.
Who are these?
I think anyone who goes through stress, anxiety, FOMO, sleepless nights, feeling lonely, feeling depressed, it's for everyone who goes through everyday's life challenges. It cuts across age and designation. It is something that affects our daily life. That's why I have the 3P principle. So my book introduces that, which is philosophy, psychology, and practicality. So I feel you need wisdom, which is our philosophy, your mindset, which is the psychology. What is the mindset of today, of the youngsters, of the older people? And then support it with practical tools and techniques, because wisdom without techniques is just something that goes over our head. But when we have tools, tangible tools, semi-tangible tools like the breath, journaling, dance movement therapy, we have ways to work on it. And so that's what is very important, and the book relays that.
There are a couple of questions that my team came out with, and one of it, which I really like, is if Anchor Within were a movie, which scene would you say defines its soul?
Self-made before soulmate.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Because you gotta love yourself first before you can love anyone else. You have to know your own soul first before you find your soulmate.
But is this working at a time when people are so stressed that you hear 30-year-olds falling off the office desk only to never recover? So you are talking about self-discovery or pause at a time when people are really racing on to catch up. So is there a disconnect between what the book is saying in times of which the readers exist in?
Book is very connected to what is relatable for today, what is needed for today. Anchoring Within is today a crucial skill that we need to learn and teach our children. Because as children, we didn't learn to explore our individuality, solitude, and now that's disturbing us because we don't know how to be alone. We don't know how to be in our own company. And that's troubling us. There's a lot of depression and aggression in our country. It's stemming from not knowing how to connect and stay still within ourselves. We need that constant distraction. We need that constant validation. And that's something we need to learn these tools on how to be okay with ourselves, how to spend that time with ourselves and get to know us. And what that does, Gaurie, it gives us a reference point. So if I know myself, then at least I know, Gaurie, you and I resonate on this topic together. Yes, I understand what this person is saying. I resonate on that frequency. You know yourself, and then you can gauge other people. Otherwise, it's a flood. There's no...
I know this is going to sound deeply ironical because we're going to play out this conversation on social media. But is social media one of the reasons why we are now at a situation where we can't spend some time alone without having an electronic device with us? Is social media the reason why we see people becoming so angry and aggressive all the time?
Look, I think in every generation, there is something that comes up. Technology will keep reinventing itself. So right now it's social media, it's AI. In my times, it was MTV, something simple like a portal like that.
My times too, yeah.
They said the kids are just going to get lost with that and we're going to lose the kids.
Yes.
So, at every given point, there will be challenge and that is going to improve our skill set. But I think what's important is we understand discipline equals freedom. You have to know how to regulate. Use that viveka, that discrimination power that only humans have, and say, okay, this is what my goals align with. That means right now I say yes, and at this time I say no. You need to have that grounding from within and be aligned to your truths and say, no, this suits me right now, this doesn't. This is quality time for my family. And right now, if a personal colleague has come to my workspace and saying, oh, I have so many problems, you say, you know what? I am going to hear you out, going to give you 100% of my time, but after my work hours, and then I'll be able to actually help you, So you need to know, you need to have that skill set to say yes, say no, have boundaries, and regulate.
But Lina, you're talking about switching off at a time when CEOs are saying work 100 hours a week or 120 hours a week. So how does one do that?
So busyness is not productivity. Busyness also means burnout. And what kind of a delivery are you going to have? What kind of a presentation are you going to have if you're not 100%? If you run to charge your mobile, you better run to charge yourself first. Our responsibility is to ourselves first, to fill our cup and then serve the world. So I don't say don't serve the world, serve the world. Even I'm part of 2 NGOs, love to give, but I find that when I meditate, I have those extra 2 hours to myself because I get that extra energy to be clear, focused, and then give. And we have to have some discipline in our lives. And that means self-love.
You're a corporate trainer. You've had a long career in training people at corporates, several of them. What would be your message to one of these CEOs who would say that anybody who's working less than, it started with 70 hours and I don't know how it reached 120 hours. Anybody working less than that is probably not cut out to be in the company. What would be your message to those CEOs?
Gosh, pause to prosper. Please pause, because that's prosperity. Because with pausing, you get reflection. You get to assess what's going on. You get to reinvent, redesign, and you prevent burnout. So pause is a beautiful space to be in to get perspective. Otherwise, you're on a go, go, go mission. I don't know how much you achieve, how much the quality of your productivity is. And let's be happy while we produce, right? Let's not kill ourselves in the process. Creativity only comes when you take a pause. Creativity doesn't come when you're moving and busy. So we need that as well.
So out of, I'm asking this out of curiosity and also because I feel that's very important to know. How much of this is part of your journey that you learned as a corporate trainer? How much of this is your learning from the Art of Living Foundation?
So I think, look, I've married spirituality. That's why I've come up with the 3P principle. I've married spirituality with our psychology. So it's not outdated. It's with today's times, and then the practical tools and tips, because I feel we need all of them. I feel we need that blend. I feel we need that ancient wisdom to remind us to embrace life, to let go, to live fully. So and be in the present moment. So we need the wisdom. We need the understanding of our mindset. What are the 3 tendencies of the mind? We have tendencies in the mind. I got to learn that. So something from Art of Living, then you add on to your experiences. And I wanted to add theater, dance, music to my corporate sessions. So then I incorporated those. That means there's more of me now in the sessions.
And what does Sri Ravi Shankarji have to say about this? I'm sure you're one of his senior instructors.
Well, look,
you're in touch with him. What does he say?
Absolutely. I met him a few days ago when I gave him the first copy of my book, and he blessed it, and it's dedicated to him. So he's my mentor. So thank you so much. I mean, he's blessed me and he's helped me to have a bigger perspective in life. He's taught me how to be happy, Gaurie. What can I say? That's it. I mean, he's taught me to meet myself, work in progress, but happier, more compassionate, and ready to share myself.
Great. That's a great note to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Lina.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Thank you so much. You're spot on.